Hello and welcome to Audiobook Connection, behind the scenes with the creative teams. I'm Becky Parker-Geist and I'm your host. Audiobook Connection is your place to learn about the audiobook creative process in discussions between the authors, narrators, producers, and post-production teams that bring them all together, as well as guests who have listened to the audiobooks and have questions for the creative teams. This podcast is sponsored by Pro Audio Voices, helping great stories come alive through audiobook production and marketing. Hi, I'm Becky Parker-Geist. I'm the host of the Audiobook Connection, behind the scenes with the creative teams. I'm also president of Bay Area Independent Publishers Association and the CEO and founder of Pro Audio Voices and AMPlify Audiobooks, providing audiobook and podcast production, distribution, and marketing. And today I have with me Edward L. James, author of The Duras Kingdom. Edward, welcome.
Hello. Hi. Thank you, Becky. Thank you.
Yeah. I always love to hear how authors get started, when they sort of started their writing journey. Have you always been interested in writing from the time you were young, or when did that start for you?
Okay. It started for me in kindergarten.
Nice.
I had a teacher, Miss Allwell, and she would gather us around and read stories, among other things that we did in kindergarten. But that was one of my favorite things to do in that class, was to just to sit around her and just listen to different stories.
Yeah, that's so.
And that's kind of how it started. Just the love, the attention.
Yeah. When did you find your? I'm always struck by, I hear this so often, and I know it's my own experience as well, as the impact that a good teacher has in our lives. It sounds like that. Yeah, that was true for you as well. And being really fully engaged in that story listening experience, when did you find yourself creating your own stories?
All right. Now, I started creating my stories. I remember reading The Most Dangerous Game, a short story, The Most Dangerous Game, by Richard Connell. And that adventure story just intrigued me, and it just got me to wanting to create my own story. I would read comic books, and after I read the comic book, 5 or 6 times, I would get the scissors and cut little pages out of the comic book and get the loose leaf paper, cut it into like a book, get the Scotch tape and make my own book.
Oh, nice. I love that.
Just take.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then I'll just write in, the fight is going to be at 6, and they'll have the superheroes fight each other. So that's how I kind of started creating.
Oh, that's great.
My own little books at that point. Yeah.
Were your parents supportive of your creative process?
Oh, yeah. Yes. My mother, she said her favorite book was Forever Amber. Mm. And she said she loved that book. I never read it. I bought it, but I just never read it. But she said she just loved that book, and she loved to read. So, and it just sort of just snowballed from that.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
And then at what point did you find yourself thinking about publishing, actually, taking that next step in your writing journey and getting it out there into the world?
Now, that didn't start till just recently. This like maybe 3 years ago or so, because I always wanted to write a book. Then you get bogged down with work and all this and all these things in life, and you say, okay, I want to write a book one day, and you don't do it, and then 1 year turns into another. And it was in 2022, I started writing The Duras Kingdom. And I said, you know what? I'm going to write this book. I'm just going to write an adventure story. And that's when I started writing it. Yeah, so I guess 2022, and that's published.
Yeah. And did you have your audience already in mind? Did you know who you were writing for at the time, or did you kind of figure that out afterwards?
I already know. I love adventure stories. Now, I read everything. When I was a kid, I read everything from Alex Haley. I read everything. Stephen King. I love Stephen King, Dean Koontz. Terry Brooks, I liked his novels, the fantasy, the sword type novel. So I kind of had I wanted to do the adventure novel. I think that would be my first. So I kind of like the Terry books, the Sword of Shannara type, fantasy adventure type novels.
Yeah. I'm curious because of what you described with the comic books and that inspiration that it was giving you and when you were young. I'm curious, if you found that you were as you were writing your own story, creating your own fantasy world, if there were images that either that you saw or that helped you create this, or if you were really, if you were creating it all in your mind and then it was like you're building that. So I'm just curious about that.
Okay. Yeah. I guess it's a combination of the two. I've always been attracted to compelling characters. If I'm watching a movie, if I'm reading a book, it may not be the hero that's the most compelling. It can be a villain. Like say I don't know Darth Vader in Star Wars. I mean, we cheer for Luke, but when Darth Vader comes in, everybody's like, "Woo, okay." So I just always, and I've always been attracted to compelling type characters that grab you. And they don't let you go until the story is over. So,
and you have some really strong women characters in your story.
Yes.
Was that a conscious decision that you were making, that you wanted to have these strong women characters, or was that just something that is just naturally came to your writing without you even thinking about it? I'm just curious about that.
Mm-hmm. Okay, actually, a little bit of both there because me and my brother, we grew up in training in martial arts, and there were women in that martial arts dojo they can once they learn how to fight, they can really, put it on you pretty good. So I guess just seeing that as a child, saying that yes, women can defend themselves. They're just as athletic and as the men. So so that's, I guess that may have had a big part of it. That may have played a big part in that.
And when did you start training in martial arts? When was that?
I started training at 9 years old. So by the time I was 10, I was just in full training mode, and it's been over 50 years now. It just has never stopped.
Oh, that's cool. And
never stopped.
Is there a particular martial art that you lean into more, or you do several different types?
Several different types. We got into boxing, taekwondo. My stepfather was into taekwondo and boxing. My biological father, he's a grandmaster in Tang Sudo, but he studied different types of taekwondo, shangduquan, all types of martial arts. Just so he reached the.
Yeah, sounds like that was really a part of your home life, just having that family around you that was also engaged in martial arts. Fascinating. That's so cool.
Yes, yes.
And so as you were bringing that into the Duras Kingdom, as you were writing it, did you, I guess, I would love for you to just delve into that a little bit more about how your life experience with the arts and your writing that was incorporating that. Just talk to us a little bit more about how that was all coming together for you as a writer.
Sure. Okay. Yes. So the martial arts aspect of it is the competition. I guess most of the competition, the confidence that you get in yourself. That's who my character is, Lucian Styles. He's into martial arts, but he wants more. I've always been that type. I've always been the type of person. I just want, someone says, let's go skydiving. Okay, let's go. You want to go hiking? Yeah, let's go. So that's how the character came about. I just took everything, kind of the way I am, and just put it into that character and placed him in a world where, you know, a lot of the things that he learned in our realm kind of helped him survive in that new realm that he was placed in.
Yeah. And how would you talk to us a little bit about some of the themes and sort of some of the themes that have come out through the story and the messages that are incorporated within. Yeah, talk to us a bit about that.
The Duras Kingdom, it's a realm. It runs parallel with our realm, our universe. In the book, there's a lot of medieval type things going on in the book. But so our realm, we're a little more advanced than they are in certain areas. We have airplanes and cell phones. They have magic and dragons, you know, so they're more advanced in us in some ways. That's what Princess Raven told Lucian. Realm to realm travel is possible. You know, they can do that there. It was new for him. So it's just a parallel universe. I guess but even in our real lives, there are parallel universes in our real. We're traveling down one street, yep, and over another mile away, there's a whole other avenue, and things are going on there that's not going on where we are. So it's kind of if you think about it, you know, we travel from like kind of realm to realm anyway in our own daily lives, you know.
You know, I think that's very true, and even. You know, sometimes, I guess at first I was thinking about how, you know, we experience like dream realm, right, is part of our lives. Yes. But I love the way you described that, you know, yeah, just walking down, you know, on a parallel road, there's a whole other experience going on. And even like what we're paying attention to also sort of creates these different yes, realms, if you will. Yeah. And so yeah, that's kind of opens up the awareness of that there's a whole lot more going on than what's right in front of us, right?
There's a whole lot more going on than what you realize. Yeah. You know, I drive a bus for a living, and if I find myself early, I have to pull that bus over. I tell the people, I apologize. I just inadvertently turned you into a time traveler. I drove you 3 minutes into the future. I say, look around, behold the future.
I love that. That's great. That's great. Yeah. Yeah. Tell us also just a little bit more about, so is it a, you know, it's like a metropolitan kind of bus, you know, transit system?
Oh, yes. Yeah. It's city bus.
Okay. Uh-huh.
Yes. Yeah.
How long have you been doing that?
I have been doing that for going on, it'll be 9 years in February.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
It'll be 9 years in February.
That's cool. Yeah. Beautiful.
I was a police officer before. You know,
oh, really?
All kind of stuff. All kind of good action.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. You really have a lot of different. Clearly you have put yourself in different careers that have given you a lot of opportunity to be out there. Yeah. Meeting people, seeing having different kinds of experiences, adventures.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. Great.
Exactly.
Great.
Yes. All different adventures, different personalities. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Great. Let's just take a short pause and we'll come right back. Prepare for an adventure beyond imagination. Martial artist and fencer Lucian Stiles longs for an exciting life and finds himself teleported from our reality to a realm that holds the Duras Kingdom. Caught in the middle of a war between a king and a powerful baron, Lucian finds excitement, love, and danger in a world of sword fighting and sorcery. Joining the Duras Knights, he and his true love, Princess Raven, embark on an incredible journey full of terrifying creatures and deadly assassins. Get your copy of The Duras Kingdom by Edward L. James in the full cast audiobook edition on AMPlify Audiobooks. Step into the adventure today. Let's talk a little bit about the audiobook. So when we first talked, you were clear, you already, knew you wanted the full cast approach to your audiobook. Share with our listeners a little bit about the clarity that you had, coming into that, what you knew about your work, where you're like, yeah, this is the way we have to do it, and that decision. Yeah.
Okay. Yes.
Yeah. You want to tell us a little bit about how you decided that that's what you wanted to do and made that decision?
Okay. So when I wrote the Duras Kingdom, naturally I wrote the book that can be read. So a person can pick up the book and read it. But what attracted me to want to do the audio with different actors, I want the reader or listener, now in this case, I guess, I want them to actually go to the Duras Kingdom. They can grab a cup of coffee and dim the lights and put their earbuds in, and they can actually be taken to this place. That's what I've always enjoyed about entertainment. When I go to a movie, I want to go to that place for 2 hours. So that's what attracted me to wanting to do the audiobooks, the different voices, the sound effects. You can hear the dragon's wings and you can hear the swords clashing and Beth's arrows piercing the air.
Right. Yeah. Tell us a little bit about, as we were doing the casting, because there were a lot of different voices that we were casting and different characters. What was that like for you to start hearing your dialogue with these different actors? And were you finding that was a hard decision, or what was that like for you?
Oh, it was awesome. Hearing the different auditions, and awesome. It was surreal to hear people. They're speaking the words that came out of your imagination. I had family members listening to help. I like this person too. I like this person. I like this person. So we had a wonderful time listening to the different auditions and voices and stuff.
Oh, that's great. And what about the process? And we're not, at the time of this recording, the audiobook is not complete. We're still in the sound design aspect of that. But what about the process so far stands out to you, or maybe was most surprising to you? I always like to give our listeners a chance. Many of them are authors who are considering the process for their own work. And I like to give them, the input from those who have been through it. So what stands out to you?
Mm-hmm. Well, what stands out is I like the auditions, and I have the almost the finished audio,
the voiceover part. Yes, where all the voices are put together. Voiceover. We just don't have all the music and sound effects in yet. Yeah, that's in process.
Yes. Well, even though the sound effects are not there in the music, but just hearing the people, you hear the narrator, and then you hear a character say his words, and then the narrator will go back into reading, and then you'll hear another character, and that's awesome. That's what gets me. That's what got me the most, to hear that back and forth with the narrator and then the actors coming in, and the back and forth of it. It's real. It's like you're there.
Yeah.
It's like you're actually there.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
And
yes.
What would you love for your listeners, your audiobook listeners, to come away with, from the experience of listening to the audiobook or listening to it for the second time or third time, or, then what would you love for them to be taking away from that experience? Like, what kind of impact would you like to have with it?
Yes. Actually, you hit the nail right on the head. When you said second time, third time, I want them to feel like they really went on an adventure. I want them to say, hey, I want to listen to this again. Maybe I hear something this time that I didn't catch the first time. It's like a ride. If you go to the amusement park, you have a favorite roller coaster, you want to get back on it again. Or when you come back to the amusement park, you want to ride that ride again. That's what I want the readers, the listeners to do with the Duras Kingdom, to listen to it again, to want more. The book is set up to where there are plenty more adventures. There's prequels. Each character, I tried to make the characters as compelling as possible. Each character can have their own separate adventure. So I would want them to want more adventures, from the different characters.
Yeah, and I'm sure they will, because it's really fun, really engaging. And how can listeners learn more about you and your writing? Where would you direct them online to learn more?
Well, right now, I'm in the process of, I don't have the website yet, but it'll be the website. It'll be through AMPlify or Pro Audio Voices. Through the website, and I'm going to have them go to that website and learn a whole lot more about characters.
All right. So we're going to encourage our listeners to get the audiobook at AMPlify Audiobooks, and to learn more, you'll be able to read Edward's bio and learn more, and to engage in conversation about the project and the kinds of your favorite moments as a listener. And, you'll be able to actually communicate directly. So that'll be awesome. All right. Beautiful. Edward, thank you so much for being with me again. Edward's book, the Duras Kingdom. And well, thank you. Thank you for joining me.
Thank you. Thank you very much for having me. Thank you.
Thanks for joining us for Audiobook Connection, behind the scenes with the creative teams. Please take a moment to subscribe at audiobookconnection.com. The podcast is sponsored by Pro Audio Voices, helping great stories come alive through audiobook production and marketing. Learn more at proaudiovoices.com. Again, thanks for being with us, and please join us next week.